So Ellen DeGeneres has been coming under fire a lot recently, from not paying her staff during quarantine to calling her time in isolation in her multi-million-dollar mansion like being in prison. Ellen has been getting called tone deaf a lot, and I think that her somewhat fake public face is even more obvious when you look at her vegan history. Personally, I don't agree with the idea that when someone quits veganism, they were never vegan to begin with. You could argue that their heart wasn't in the right place, but the animals really don't care about their intentions. However, in this video, I'm going to try to prove why Ellen truly never was vegan. Ellen has still done a lot of good things for veganism, and I'm going to talk about that, but do they outweigh the negatives? In this video, I'm going to be trying to answer, how good is Ellen DeGeneres for veganism? Make sure you smash like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon down there. Hit the bell if you're subscribed, because I'm going to be doing 2 of these videos a week, and I really don't want you to miss out. Let me know in the comments who I should do next. Let's go. So this all started in 2008, when the iPhone still looked like this. Ellen watched the documentary Earthlings, narrated by Joaquin Pheonix. Yes, that Joaquin Pheonix. This documentary is so graphic, and honestly, it's the reason I went vegan and stayed vegan. I'm going to link that at the end of this video, so make sure you watch this to the end. Now, I'll admit, Ellen has done some good for veganism, like when she said this to her over 77 million Instagram followers.
It's a great idea for the planet, it's a great idea for your health, it's a great idea for the animals' health. So eat less meat. Unless you're a vegan and you don't eat meat already, then good for you. So you don't even need to pay attention to this.
I generally don't rag on people for promoting reducitarianism. I talk about this in my video about Bill Maher. Every bit helps, but these words become increasingly empty when the person saying it might actually be doing more harm than good. So before we jump into the negative aspects of Ellen's vegan activism, I'll summarize some of the good that she's done. In the past, Ellen and a few other celebrities banded together encouraging people in Florida to vote yes on Amendment 13 to remove the Greyhound racing tracks. Again, she encouraged her followers to vote yes on California's Proposition 12 animal welfare bill, which aims to crack down on the cruel treatment of farm animals confined to restrictive cages. On top of this, in an episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Ellen said to Jerry Seinfeld that foie gras is one of the cruelest things ever. Ellen successfully turned a carnivore chef into a vegan chef who actually stayed vegan according to his Instagram. She promoted the idea of adopting a turkey instead of eating them on Thanksgiving, and she criticized Trump's plan to lift the ban on trophy hunting. Later, she launched a campaign to raise money for elephant conservation. A huge thing that Ellen has done for the animals on the note of conservation is that in 2018, Ellen's wife Portia actually gifted Ellen a wildlife fund to directly support a gorilla conservation.
So, let's see it. Happy birthday.
When people ask my wife, who is the person, living or dead, you most want to interview, her answer is always Dian Fossey. Ellen was struck by Diane's dedication to animals, her mind, and her bravery. Her story is also carried on through the work of the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund. I am bringing you and your hero Diane together by building the Ellen DeGeneres campus of the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund. Ellen, you will carry on Diane's legacy by giving them a permanent home in Rwanda.
I have also set up a foundation in your name called the Ellen DeGeneres Wildlife Fund. So this is the first initiative for the fund, but you can take this and do whatever you want with it. You've done amazing work for elephants, and you can just continue and support.
I think this is awesome. So now, the Ellen DeGeneres Wildlife Fund and the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund are partnered to create the Ellen DeGeneres campus of the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund. So this campus will be home for workers to expand their conservation efforts in Rwanda, to help save gorillas, inspire activism, and will allow visitors to learn about gorillas. There will be interpretive paths in the forest, a science library, and research will be performed. The building contains a water recapture system, green roofs, and planting of native species. Plus, this project will employ 1,500 people. The groundbreaking was February 12, 2019, with a completion targeted of around 2 years later. So here we are a year later, there's only around 800 gorillas left in the world, and as of recently, they've raised $6 million for this project, so I think this is a great aspect of Ellen's animal advocacy. Finally, Ellen promoted the vegan animal rights activist James Aspey. This was probably one of the better things she's done for veganism in terms of activism, in my opinion, because James is an extremely effective Australian activist and an example of someone who is motivated to truly help animals. He beat cancer, and he even took a 1-year vow of silence just to raise awareness for our voiceless animals. And if you don't want to watch Earthlings at the end of this video, I'll leave a link for one of his descriptions at the end as well, so make sure you keep watching to the end, and he might inspire you to go vegan today. In the past, Bill Clinton and Ellen both talked about veganism. Apparently, Bill Clinton now eats some fish, and these clips were made private for some reason. After watching the documentary Earthlings, Ellen said, 50 billion animals a year are killed, and I think we all fool ourselves that there is some kind of happy cow and that it's a quick death, that they just hit him in the head and they are out. They are all in pain. They are all treated badly. They are all diseased, and they are all pumped with antibiotics. It's a very disgusting reality, and it happens every minute of the day. So these are the words of a compassionate vegan. So what happened? Ellen created a lot of controversy when she broke the news that she was eating not only eggs, but fish as well. Like I mentioned in my last video about Steve-O, which if you haven't watched, make sure you check that out. Fish are animals too. After 8 years of veganism, Ellen said that she started eating fish for no real reason. I honestly think that the reason is because she forgot why she went vegan to begin with. If you're vegan for a number of years and you're beginning to think that eating a piece of meat is fine, I encourage you to watch the documentary that may have led you to be vegan in the first place. If you can't bring yourself to watch slaughterhouse footage, then you're definitely going to feel bad after you pay for this to happen. Anyways, Steve-O went to jail for protesting SeaWorld, whereas Ellen was just excited that she got the chance to indirectly hint at SeaWorld being bad by showing whales in a tank in the movie Finding Dory. I think I found Dory, Ellen, and she's not going to like what you have planned for her. So now it's time to get into the weird stuff. So like I said in the intro, I'm not crazy about the way vegans will say when someone quits veganism that they were never vegan to begin with, but I get it. Honestly, it's kind of like saying, I quit smoking while smoking a cigarette. You kind of ruin your progress and it undoes some of the good that you did. Realistically, she could use her platform to set a great example. Instead, she's not. But this isn't the issue. The thing is, when someone quits veganism, they might just mean, I'm going to start eating fish, but I'm still going to be vegan in principle in that I won't test on animals, I won't buy leather. But with Ellen, the opposite was true. In fact, even while she was supposedly vegan, she still supported these industries. So I'll say it just this once. Ellen, you were never vegan. So let's start with leather. So while vegan, or I should say eating plant-based at this point, Ellen was running the clothing company Ed. She was selling leather shoes and shoes made of suede and other animal byproducts. What's even worse is that some people emailed her about this, and her support team actually lied and said that all of their products were vegan and had no animal products. Do they not know where leather comes from? So to this day, Ed still sells leather shoes, but what's even worse is that she has an exclusive deal with PetSmart. Now you've probably heard vegans say before, adopt, don't shop. When it comes to PetSmart, this is exactly what they're talking about. While PetSmart does help in the adoption of some cats, they still have a huge live animal market where they breed and sell animals. And if you purchase one of these animals, they're just going to breed and bring in another one. So it's a cycle that vegans generally don't support, and I find it weird that Ellen chooses to support this company. Of course, you could go into PetSmart and maybe purchase animal food or things like that, and maybe it's not so bad, but I find it weird for a vegan to have such a direct relationship with a company that does so much harm to animals. Speaking of pet food, Ellen also became the face of a vegan dog food brand called Halo. Now at first she received a lot of criticism on both sides, from people saying that dogs shouldn't be eating a vegan diet, to some vegans saying that she should be selling vegan cat food. I've mentioned this before on my channel that I feed my cat meat because vets determined that this was healthiest for him, but Ellen did a pretty good job presenting the scenarios and science where a dog might benefit or actually require a vegan diet. The larger issue with this is that Halo mostly just sells generic dog and cat food now. The vegan dog food that she started off with is literally just an afterthought of this company, and at this point they're just a meat market. Now I understand this is a necessary market for some animals until maybe lab-grown meat is available and safe, but it seems weird again that a vegan would have this direct relation with a company that's doing so much harm to animals. And it doesn't stop there. Again, while vegan, Ellen was the face of the brand CoverGirl.
Inner beauty is important, but not nearly as important as outer beauty.
She was literally the CoverGirl for a while. Although they claim to be cruelty-free now, they're still not vegan, and while she was the spokesperson, they were definitely testing on animals. So I think it's safe to say in this case that Ellen wasn't vegan. Although she promoted a plant-based diet and a lot of ideas around animals, she really didn't put a lot of these into practice herself, especially now. She definitely made some money from companies that test on animals, sold leather herself, lied to her customers about it, makes money from meat and dog and cat food, and eats fish herself now and eggs. So even though Ellen was vegan for 8 years, she didn't leave a lot of good in her path. I think we're going to hear a lot more from Ellen though next year once this gorilla conservation project completes and is open for business. And recently her and Porsche invested in the vegan cheese brand Mayoko's Creamery. In both instances here though, I have to point out that Porsche is the common denominator. So I'd like to think that maybe Porsche is the one who's pushing Ellen to be more vegan and to be more involved with animal rights. So I think that the criticism that Ellen's been getting in general lately about being out of touch or how she sort of lost her way might be true, especially regarding her vegan activism as well. So all said and done, I think Ellen DeGeneres is not that good for veganism. However, I think with the help of Porsche, she might be able to come back around to some of the original ethics that she had, but I think it's going to require her to rewatch Earthlings and really consider why she cared so much to begin with. Anyways, that's about it, guys. If you want to check out that documentary by Joaquin Pheonix, I'm going to link that right here. You can go ahead and click that. Make sure you check out my other video about Steve-O first, and check out that Bill Maher video that I mentioned earlier. I'll leave a link in the description for the James Aspey video, and make sure you comment below and let me know who you think I should do the next video on. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell icon so you're notified and you don't miss out. Smash like, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.